Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today's video I'll be reviewing this. This is Pangu Toys Mighty Miracle God PT02, also known as Legend Scale Omega Supreme. Now this is my first experience with Pangu Toys. It says PT02, so I'm assuming there's a 01, but honestly I don't know what 01 is. The package, as you can see here, it's just this plain shiny black box. You can see the reflection here. Nothing really on it but that, and the rest of the box is just plain, as you can see. Okay, let's get the Mighty Miracle God out of the box. Here's PT02 out of the package. Now I'm going to call him that from now on, or Omega, because Mighty Miracle God is way too long. So he comes with his set of instructions in 2 sheets, not really folded nicely, but it's in full color, which is nice, and it's very clear. It's not super tiny text, but you get 2 sheets to cover all of PT02's instructions. You get some blast effects on sprue. You get this small robot. I believe it's from the cartoon. I can't remember what episode, but it's a pretty articulate robot. Some kind of repair bot, I guess. The head does turn, and he can bend. Does have ankle joints. This is on a ball. But yeah, honestly, I'm not getting Omega for this, but it's a nice add-on. Comes with an alternate face in this bag. Here's the alternate face. It's just Omega with his mouth open. 2 track wings. A claw arm. Does it pop out? Yeah, that pops out. It's clear for some reason. And then the top of the rocket, which becomes his cannon arm. You can see there's a little LED in here, and I believe this is the screw for the battery. Let's open it up here. Looks like the batteries are already pre-installed, which is nice. Let's close it back up. So here's the button for the LED. If you press it, it lights up, but it says something, I believe, in Chinese, if you can hear it. Sounds kind of eerie, if you ask me, but it's cool that it lights up. I kind of wish if you press the button, it stays lit, and honestly, the voice is probably not really needed. And you get Omega Supreme himself, of course. The arms need to be attached along with the wings. So let's first attach the wings. Simply open this up, which is very G1 like, and you can put this in here and then close it up. Now for the arms, you're going to open up the door here, which is right here. It's nice and tight. Then you're going to push this up and then close it. Let's do the same for the other arm. It's nice and tight. Feels pretty solid. Again, this is my first experience with Pangu Toys, so I wasn't really knowing what to expect. I'm going to put the arm in this slot like so. And do the other side. And here we have Pangu Toys 02 Omega Supreme, all assembled, and it looks really good. The price on this guy is very nice. I think the domestic price in China is $54. You can get it shipped in the US for $80, I believe, depending on the retailer, but it looks really nice. I mean, very cartoon accurate, with just the exception of the wings. I think because they made the wings just fold in half, it sticks out a lot more than what it would in the cartoon, unlike the new age design. But other than that, it looks really good. There's some things that I see that are probably minor construction issues. Like you can see here, there's little gaps. I don't know if that might be fixed if I tighten the screws here. And I don't know, I'll have to go back, but it looks correctable. It just could be a little bit of the quality control with it. Yeah, and speaking of quality control, you can see here on this piece, let me take it out so you can see it closely. So you can see that whoever worked on this screwed this way too tight, to the point that it caused stress here, possibly even punctured. Well, not punctured, but pressed it too much. I'm going to try to take a hair dryer or a heat gun to this and see if I can heat this away. It's a bit different from a stress mark because it actually protrudes a little bit, so I may not be able to get rid of that. So I just applied a heat gun to it. I wasn't able to get rid of the protrusion, but I did get rid of the lighter discoloration due to the stress mark, so it doesn't stick out as much. I guess one way for me to make them match is tighten the screw on this one a lot tighter and then go back with the hair dryer, but I think I'll just leave it as is. The discoloration doesn't show as much, so it doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, a little QC issue on that part, as they tightened that screw way too much that it almost it pushed out the other side. But other than that, it's a pretty solid figure, has a lot of heft. The paint apps are done nicely, very clean, as you can see here. And then on the back, I wish this part wasn't so flat, that it protruded out just a little bit more. This and this, it seems a little too flat for my taste. The head sculpt is very nice. Again, you can see that there's a little gap here, so it's not exactly flushed. But for the price, I can't really complain. I may open it up and check if there's any flashing there that's preventing it from closing that little gap. But the head sculpt is really nice. Looks like Omega. I guess I should take it all off since I'm trying to change the head. And then in here, it's hard to grab this little tab, so I'm gonna have to use like a little tool or spudger to push it up. I would prefer to rotate this on this head part, because I don't know, it's just such a small piece that I don't really want to chance snapping it. It doesn't feel like it's a brittle plastic, but I fear that moving it around so many times it'll give in or give way. So let's pop this out a bit. Here's the old face. Let's put the visor back on, or the cover, face shield. And here is Omega with the alternate face. Let me bring them closer like this. Sorry for the glare. Okay, I like the default face a lot better, so I'm gonna pop this out and swap it back. I got the default face back in. Let's take a look at the blast effects. So I took them out of the sprue and they pretty much assemble like so. So that small circular piece goes here. You have this part goes inside there. So at first I thought it was multiple blast effects. It's actually just one. This one doesn't seem to fit that well in. See if I can get it in. Might be easier just to shave it off and super glue it than getting it in that small piece. But you can put the blast effect like so, and it can go into his cannon arm. I mean, it's cool that they included the blast effect, but kind of imagine Omega's blast effect to be a lot bigger. This kind of looks a little puny. All right, let's try it with the lights. All right, let's look at the articulation of the figure. The head can be pulled up like this, so he can look up and down, so to speak. Turn around 360. That's kind of cool. He has that additional motion here. The arm can rotate 360. The wings get in the way. Let's remove the wings. But if they weren't there, he could go all the way. He can rotate up at the shoulder this much. He can rotate 360. He can bend at the elbow only 90 degrees. His claw is only articulated at these points. He can rotate at the waist 360. If you lift up these very small flaps, he can do the splits. He can rotate at the thigh back and forth. If you lift up the flap, he can kick this far up. Lift up the flap in the back, and he can kick this far back. He can bend at the knee this much, and he does have ankle tilt, which can actually come out pretty far. But that's probably due to transformation. For some size comparisons, here is PT02 next to New Age Bumblebee, New Age Beachcomber, New Age Blue Streak, New Age Ironhide, New Age Grapple, New Age Optimus Prime, New Age Grimlock, and New Age Jetfire. And just to compare him to the two G1 Legend Scale Devastators out there right now, here he is next to New Age Devastator and Magic Square's Devastator. Now I do think he scales kind of well with New Age's Devastator on the left here, but on the right, I think he's a little bit too short for my liking with Magic Square. Honestly, even with New Age, I'd like him to be a little bit taller. I know New Age's version of Devastator is, I think, a half-inch taller, so might stand around here. We've yet to see Magic Square's version, but here he is with the two G1 Devastators out there in Legend Scale. Okay, let's get Omega Supreme transformed into his rocket base mode. Here's PT02 in its rocket base mode, and it looks really good. Now, transformation was really nice, pretty satisfying, very intuitive, not overly complex. I didn't feel like I was going to break anything, which is a fear with, trying out a new company. This is, like I said, this is my first time trying out Pangu toys, so that was the great unknown for me, and I'm glad to say that everything feels pretty solid with the transformation. Tolerances were very great. But But the rocket base mode pretty much looks the part. There are some minor issues I have, starting with the tank. Would have been nice if this part was painted. Kind of looks unfinished because they have paint over here, but this area of the tank treads would have been nice if that was painted. Also kind of looks, I don't know, a little plain. Maybe a bit more detail molded in there would have been nice. Here's the bottom, a little bit hollow, but it's okay. It gets covered up really well. Have some wheels. Paint apps are nice and clean. The turret can rotate, which is cool. Go up and down. But overall, very cool looking tank mode, very G1, very passable. It's just little minor things for me. It's like you get all these tiny little paint apps here and there. It would have been nice if they just finished it off on this side. And the other little issue I have with the base mode is there's no real tracks. It's basically a road, and then I guess you can roll on it. It would have been nice if there was a track that it could follow, but there is none, so you can easily get off track on this base mode. Now looking at the rocket's pretty cool that you have the doors here. So let me pop it open. Flips open like so, and then you can pull it out. It can rotate here. So that's cool that this part rotates. So you can have a little, I guess, ramp to go up in the rocket. You also have this one as well, but I don't think it can open during, I guess it can. Same mechanism, but this bottom one makes way more sense. But yeah, so I mean, really, it does the part for the rocket base mode. The tracks are pretty nice. The center of the base, I'm gonna move this out because this is all one piece, which is pretty cool. So this is the center area, all connected. I mean, the only parts forming besides the tank, the rocket, are these little ramps here, which attach very nicely on the back. You get some nice molded detail. Overall, a very nice looking G1 representation of Omega Supreme in base mode. The rocket, it would have been nice if it was longer, but a little stubby rocket here. But even though I'm pointing these things out, honestly, these are really small negatives. It's like I'm nitpicking at this point. I'm very pleased with this set, especially for the price point that this is being sold for. If you get it domestically in China, it's $54, which is well worth what you're getting. Okay, let's get PT02 back to robot mode for my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Pangu Toys PT02 Omega Supreme. I am really pleased with this figure. Overall, it is a great figure. Transformation, nice and satisfying. The build, while there are some minor QC issues that I saw here and there, it's still pretty solid. I didn't feel like I was going to break anything. And it just looks the part. I had very minimal issues. Some of them are just with aesthetics, like the wing over here. And of course, not having an actual track for the tank. But to me, that's already nitpicking. I'm really happy I picked up the figure, especially for the price. It's a really good, solid figure. Anyway, that is it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thanks for watching.